Hello students, welcome to the another lecture, and our today's topic is exchange energy. Why this exchange energy is used in chemistry? Before going to that, let me first explain you where it actually appears in your NCERT textbook. See, the first it appears in chapter number 2, structure of atom, standard 11, and then it appears in D and F block elements chapter, which comes in standard 12, right? Now, see students, with the help of exchange energy, we are able to explain the exceptional electronic configuration of chromium and copper. Okay, but before we start the lecture, students, if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, I suggest you to subscribe the channel. Aye, let's start. So, students, this is chromium, correct? The atomic number of chromium is 24. So the electronic configuration is argon, correct? We know that after argon, 4s orbital will be filled first. Now that is in accordance to the Aufbau's rule. So let us fill 4s orbitals first with the electrons, right? So 18 electrons of argon and 2 of 4s orbital gives you 20 electron. Now we need to fill 4 more electrons. So fill 4 more electrons in 3d orbital. But we know that this is not the correct electronic configuration of chromium. Right students? This is not the correct electronic configuration of chromium. The correct electronic configuration of chromium is this. 1 electron in 4s and 5 electrons in 3d orbital. Correct? This is an exceptional electronic configuration. It is exceptional. Why it is exceptional? Because it is exceptional to Aufbau's rule, which states that lower energy orbitals should be filled first. Here if you see, the lower energy 4s orbital is not being filled first. Only 1 electron enters in 4s and then one after another, the 5 electrons enter into 3d orbitals according to Hund's rule. Now the question is, sir, why is this happening? This, my dear students, happened because your half filled and completely filled orbitals are stable. Remember this, that half filled and completely filled orbitals are always stable. Now, why they are stable? Now students, there are two reasons for this. The first is symmetry. Students, half filled orbital or completely filled orbital will have the element of symmetry in it. So because of being symmetrical, their energy will decrease and hence the stability will increase, right? So symmetry is something so beautiful thing. Okay, and because of this symmetry, what will happen? See here, each d orbital will have equal charge, and as a result they will tend to remain as much away from each other as possible, and because of that, what will happen? That repulsion between the electrons decreases and hence the stability increases. Correct? The second reason, my dear students, for this statement is exchange energy. Right? Now what is exchange energy? I'll come to that. Before that, let us take one more example which involves completely filled orbitals. Now you know that the atomic number of copper is 29 and its electronic configuration will be, it should be like this, because first 4s orbital is filled. So when we fill 2 electrons in 4s, 18 of argon makes total 20 electrons and the 9 electrons of 3d orbitals should be filled like this. But again students, this is not the correct electronic configuration of copper. The correct electron configuration of copper is this: 1 electron in 4s and after that the 3d orbitals will be filled, right? This is the correct electronic configuration of copper. Now again, why it is correct? Because see, as I told you that completely filled orbitals are stable. So here, just by moving one electron from here to here, what will happen? Your d orbitals will become completely filled, and because your d orbitals become completely filled, they attain stability. So this electronic configuration of copper is more stable than this particular electronic configuration of copper. What is the reason? Again, the reason is, first reason is symmetry. See students, half filled and completely filled orbitals are symmetrical. So as a result, here you see each d orbital will contain 2 electrons. As a result, they will tend to orient away from each other in the space as much as possible. So repulsion between the electron decreases and hence the stability increases. Correct? The second reason which I am talking about is exchange energy. Students, now let's understand what is exchange energy. See, exchange energy is the energy released when 2 or more electrons with same spin in degenerate orbitals exchange their positions in the same subshell. Now, what does the definition mean? Let me take the example and explain you the definition. Okay, see students, just now we have seen in chromium, right? This is the 3d orbital, right? We have seen that the 3d orbital is not this, correct? This is the incorrect case, but the 3d orbital is half filled. This is correct, right? So one reason I gave you symmetry. Let me explain you this by means of exchange energy, correct? So what will happen? Let's see. This electron, these are all degenerate orbitals. Students, what are degenerate orbitals? In a subshell, the orbitals having equal energies are called degenerate orbitals, right? So all the orbitals of 3d subshell will be equal in energies and hence they are degenerate orbitals. So this electron, right? You see the spin of all the electrons is same. All the electrons are having plus half spin, right? So this electron can go to here, it can go here, and it can go here. So there are 3 exchanges possible in this case, correct? Now, let us have a look at the second electron, right? So the second electron, students, it can go here and also it can go here. But what will happen? Once it goes here, this electron will come here and there is the exchange in the position of electrons, right? So only 2 exchanges are possible. So now if the question arises, sir, why this electron can't go here? It can go here, but it is already covered. See, this electron going here and this electron coming here is same as this electron going here and this electron coming here. So that thing is already covered. Okay, so we will not consider this exchange. Let's talk about the exchange of third electron. You see, the third electron can only be exchanged like this. There is only one exchange possible, right? Now, no need to talk about the exchange of fourth electron because the fourth electron has been exchanged with this, and also with this. So, all the cases by which the fourth electron can be exchanged have been covered. So, see students, we can see the total number of exchanges here will be 3 plus 2, 5 plus 1, 6. 6 exchanges are possible, correct? Now, let us take a look at this particular electronic configuration having 3d5. So this electron can be exchanged here, 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 and also here. So students, you see 4 exchanges are possible, correct? Now, let us have a look at the exchange of second electron. See, it can be exchanged here, here, and also here. So students, how many? 3 exchanges will be possible, right? Now, again, as I told you, you cannot consider this exchange because this has already been covered here, right? So you cannot consider this exchange. Let us consider the exchange of third electron See students, it can be exchanged here, it can also be exchanged here, so we can have two exchanges, right? Let's consider the exchange of fourth electron. See, the fourth electron can only be exchanged here because all other exchanges of fourth electron have been covered in the earlier cases. So here I have only one exchange, right? And fifth electron, we cannot consider the exchange for fifth electron because all the exchanges possible for the fifth electron have been covered. So see, the total number of exchanges, students, is 4 plus 3, 7, plus 2, 9, plus 1, 10. So here 10 exchanges are possible, correct? More the number of exchanges, more will be the energy released. And as we know that higher the energy, amount of energy given out, the more will be the stability of the element. So what will happen, that here, because the number of exchanges are 10, they are more than the 6 exchanges. This particular electronic configuration is much more stable than this particular electronic configuration. Clear? Now, same way, but students, one thing, there is one condition that you have to understand. You cannot make exchanges, random exchanges. See, first thing, you can make exchanges only in the degenerate orbitals of a subshell. Degenerate orbitals of a subshell means the orbitals having equal energy. So you have to make the exchanges in the degenerate orbitals of the same subshell, and that too, the two electrons which you are making an exchange should have same spin, right? So all these electrons are having same spin, so we can make an exchange. Okay, now let us consider the example of copper, right? In copper we have seen (3D) subshell, that this is the wrong electronic configuration, whereas this is the correct electronic configuration, right? Why? Because students, you see, when we make an exchange here, the electron with upward spin, right? We have to exchange it with the electron of upward spin. So this electron can be exchanged 1, 2, 3 and 4 places, right? And for the downspin electron, this particular electron, see, you can make the following exchanges. How many exchanges, students? 3 exchanges, correct? So upspin electron can be exchanged with an upspin electron, and downspin electron can be exchanged with a downspin electron. Now, if we take the example of second electron, see, student, second electron can be exchanged like this. 3 exchanges are possible, and here if you see, only 2 exchanges are possible. Let us consider the third electron. Here 2 exchanges are possible, and for the downspin electron only 1 exchange is possible, because downspin electron cannot be exchanged with an upspin electron. Now here this electron can be exchanged with this, whereas downspin electron, there is all the cases for the exchange of downspin electron are over, so no more cases are possible. So here you see only 1 exchange can be made. Students, if we calculate the total number of exchanges, then you see 4 plus 3 7 plus 2 9 and 10. 10 exchanges can be made for upspin electrons, and 3 plus 2 5 plus 1 6. 6 exchanges can be made for downspin electrons, so you get total 16 exchanges, correct? Let us see the number of exchanges that can be made here. See, this upspin electron can have total 4 exchanges, right? And the downspin electron can have again how many? 4 exchanges, because then the upspin electron can be exchanged with this downspin electron, right? Now, see students, here there are 3 exchanges possible for upspin electron and 3 exchanges possible for the downspin electron, right? You can see 2 exchanges possible for upspin electron and 2 exchanges possible for the downspin electron, right? Here just 1 exchange possible for this upspin electron and 1 exchange is possible for the downspin electron. So students, if I calculate the total number of exchanges, I see that 4 plus 3, 7 plus 2 and 1, 10. 10 exchanges are possible for the upspin electrons, plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 and plus 1. So again 10 exchanges are possible for the downspin electron, right? So here, my dear students, I have how many? I have 20 exchanges. So more number of exchanges means more release of energy, and as a result, what happens? More stability. We do have a formula to calculate the number of exchanges. The number of exchanges can be calculated by using the formula n factorial upon 2 into n minus 2 factorial. Correct? So suppose I want to calculate the number of exchanges in chromium, right? So what is my n? First of all, n is the number of electrons with same spin in degenerate orbitals of same subshell. Correct? So here, if I want to calculate number of exchanges for chromium, students, what I should do is n. So in my 3D subshell, there are 5 degenerate orbitals, and these are 5 electrons having same spin. So what I'll do, 5 factorial, because my n will be equal to 5, so I'll take 5 factorial upon 2 into 5 minus 2 factorial. Put the values 5 factorial, matlab 5 into 3 into 4, 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 upon 2 into 3 factorial. So that is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 upon 2 into 3 into 2 into 1. So students, our answer will be 10. As you can see, 10 exchanges are made in case of chromium. Now let us calculate in case of copper. So copper, students, what will be my n? N will not be 10. Because n is the number of electrons of same spin. So 5 electrons you have of same spin and another 5 also you have of same spin. So first we will calculate for upspin electrons. So because n is equal to 5 for upspin electrons, we calculate the same way. The number of exchanges will be 10. This will be for upspin electrons. And students, for downspin electrons, again it will be 10. Because there are 5 electrons of downspin. So total, if I make, there will be 20 exchanges. Okay. So based on this formula, you can find out the number of exchanges. To find out exchange energy, what we need to do is, we need to multiply the number of exchanges by a constant k, Ex. This Kex, students, is known as your exchange constant, right? Or exchange energy constant. Okay. So इट्स वन एंड द सेम, आइदर आप कैलकुलेट कर लो नंबर ऑफ एक्सचेंजेस या फिर आप कैलकुलेट कर लो एक्सचेंज एनर्जी, राइट? आंसर तो सेम ही आएगा, जस्ट यहाँ पे यू हैव टू मल्टीप्लाई बाय KEX. So what I prefer is you just calculate number of exchanges. More the number of exchanges, more will be energy released and more will be the stability. So this is how we explain the stability of half filled and completely filled orbitals, and because of which your chromium and copper will have an exceptional electronic configuration. Hope you have understood the concept very nicely. Okay, do not forget to like the video. Okay, that's all for today. Study well.